Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Final Fantasy V, the 4-job Fiesta for T&V Small Critter Rescue. Last episode, we rescued Sid, and he transformed the airship into a submarine, so now we can explore basically the whole world and also underwater. So, you know, airship is a real transformer. So, despite being able to move on with the plot because of the submarine, we took a little side detour to the Sunken Wars Tower, where we met that mime we met in Carwin, and we mimicked him doing nothing in a battle with him, and he said, hey, you're good mimes, so he allowed us to take the crystal shard, the one from the water crystal that was out of reach. He allowed us to take that, and that unlocked the job of the mime. So it's a bonus job basically, but we'll never use it. I never counted it in a Fiesta job because it's basically like a freelancer job, but instead of fight, you're given the mime command. So, now it's time to advance the plot and head into our third elemental dungeon, the undersea volcano. We got to deal with these gargoyles again. They're going to be in every single elemental dungeon guarding it. We can take these guys out pretty easily now with the new ability that we got, the flare sword. We got that when we unlocked the flare spell in the Fort Tower last episode. Basically, that can one-shot these gargoyles now, so we just concentrate our firepower on one of them, get it down to the point where it's almost ready to be defeated, finish one off with a flare sword, and then finish the other gargoyle off before it revives the gargoyle defeated with the flare sword. And fire is the name of the game in this dungeon. Like I said, it's an undersea volcano, so... Flare, though, even though you think it would be fire, it actually is a non-elemental spell, so... but it does a lot of damage, so... Unless the enemy has an elemental weakness, that'll be our go-to spell sword to use. But we won't be using it at all in this dungeon, because all the enemies here are weak to holy. So having the holy sword spell will instantly defeat these guys when we hit them. Whoever has the saint staff, in this case right now it's Cara, but eventually it'll be Faris. We'll also be able to one-shot most of the unknowns as well, with the exception of one. And I say most of the unknowns because all the enemies in this area are called unknowns. So there's actually 5, but 2 of them share the same sprite. I just call them by what they kind of look like. Like these ones look like snakes, so I call them unknown snakes. There's one that looks like a flower waiting to bud, so I call them unknown flowers. Those are the ones that have 2 different distinct entries in the bestiary. One is just the one that appears in groups with other unknowns, and then another, the other version always appears in groups of 3. And they have different AI. So that's why they're different, even though they share the same palette. Same color and everything, so it actually is a palette swap. Most time with palette swaps, they just, you know, change the colors and get a new enemy. But this one, both the unknowns remain the same color. I wonder why they did that, I don't know. I do know that I'm going to be grateful that we have Geomancers, not because of the terrain ability, but because their ability to not take damage when walking on lava or damage tiles. So we want to avoid that button there because it removes that bridge, and now it just forces us to walk through lava. Not a big deal for the Geomancers, but it would add a few extra steps. I'll show it off on the way out of this dungeon, what happens when you hit that button. But speaking of hitting buttons, we want to hit this button here in the northeast corner, because to the north, we backtrack a little bit, there's a treasure chest on a platform that we can't reach, but hitting this button here creates a land bridge to allow us to access that treasure chest. It gives us a flame ring. Those 50,000 gold rings, or rings, accessories. Yeah, now we're just getting them as regular treasure, so... One of the ones we can't get, reflect rings, there's going to be some enemies that drop them with a lot of consistency. So that's where we'll get the 4 for them. The other elemental rings, ones we don't pick up, we'll end up just buying. We'll probably be able to buy them in the Mirage Town. You could buy them as soon as you get the airship. and have enough money. But we don't know where the Mirage Town is, but we will learn exactly where it is in this dungeon here. We'll also learn a different side objective, so... Remember, quite a few different places we'll talk about dwarfs in Carwin and then in Crescent. We're actually going to run into the dwarfs in this game, so... And Cara's mastered White Mage, so we'll just make her the Geomancer, because she's the closest to maxing all her jobs. And that allows us to change Faris into the White Mage, which is the only job that she needs to master. Yeah. So... again, a lot of job points here. By the end of this dungeon, T and V will only have to master the Magic Knight, and Lenna and Cara will both be forced to master the Dancer job. So Cara's going to hang out in Geomancer for a while to... that'll be her final job, because I think she has the coolest Geomancer sprite. But that'll be her final job, but change Lenna to the Dancer, have her finish that off, so... But she's going to finish off the Magic Knight here. So you hit that button, backtrack a little bit. The other buttons, you don't want to hit any of the other buttons except for the one that we just passed right now. Because hitting those buttons, it takes you to the floor below, creates a hole that you're going to fall into. And the other buttons, if you push them, we're going to fall into one of those holes that have lava in them. Not a problem for our characters, because we're Geomancers, we won't take damage, but if you had another class that wasn't a Geomancer or wasn't have the magic float, which is a time magic. In most games it's white magic, but in this game it's a time magic. So I'm able to use it. Or got like float from a different source, like charming an enemy to have them cast float on you, or the blue magic big guard. Just I showed you the enemy that gives that last episode. The Stingray, right outside of the War's Tower there. So there's some more unknowns. We already saw that blob unknown. We already saw that flower unknown as well, but because it's by itself, with other unknowns, it's not the special one. The one that only counts when it comes in groups of 3. And then we have the toughest unknown there, the skeleton one that has the most hit points. It's not the most annoying though. The most annoying unknown is the blob one that we just finished off in this battle here. What makes them annoying is if you hit them with a single target physical attack, and it doesn't defeat them in one hit, they end up using an ability called Possess, and that just removes your character from battle whenever it's hit with it. And that'll prevent them, of course, from getting the ability points that you want to use to master jobs. Not that we're having a problem mastering jobs, we're actually going to end up mastering jobs before we end up getting into the Cleft Dimension. The first Fiesta that will actually end up doing that. Probably because we got lucky with the Dancer and Geomancer job both being really low points to master. Most of my jobs, though, for previous festivals, I end up mastering in a side dungeon you got coming up. There are these enemies that you can only defeat by using elixirs on them. But when you defeat them, if you defeat them with the elixirs, they give 100 ability points. So, really good for maxing out jobs. I think there's 5 of them in there, so you can get 500 job points, which is enough to master, or almost master most jobs. Most jobs are usually around like the mid 600s to 700s to master. 650 to 750. There's a few outliers like mine is 999, and the Red Mage, their final ability is 999. But that was a pain to master. So, but let's keep going on and finish off this dungeon here. Yeah, this is the floor where it's really painful, like I said, if you don't hit the Geomancer. Because every single one of these tiles, you'll be taking 50 damage. Run through all your potions and high potions really quick. I know for my one Fiesta I didn't have float magic and I didn't have white magic, so really tough. End up having to basically make it here to this dwarf kingdom and how to heal up using a cabin at the save point. We're of course going to use the save point because the boss is not too far from here. we'll end up buying one of those dark shirts. I realized that even though dark shirt has has less defensive value than the crystal armor that our Mystic Knight is wearing, it gives a bunch of bonuses to other stats like strength, agility, and vitality. So this Dwarf Kingdom, very, very tiny. There's only 5 characters. I call it a Dwarf Kingdom because actually one of the dwarves calls it a Dwarf Kingdom. But we have a shop here, a weapons and armor shop. Don't have an inn, sadly. So we're forced to use a cabin at the save point. But this shop here, if you go from the north or the south, he sells the armor, and if you talk with him on the east or the west, he will sell you weapons. We don't want any weapons, we don't need any of them. So we'll just give him a bunch of treasure that we picked up in the second elemental dungeon and the Fork Tower, and he's just been clogging our inventories. So this dwarf is going to tell us about the magic lamp. He doesn't tell us, actually nobody actually tells you where the magic lamp is found, but we kind of go near where it's found on another objective that we're going to get from the town of Mirage, another little side quest. And we're finally going to learn how to get to the town of Mirage when we talk with this dwarf out here who's building a tunnel to go all the way around the world. But he ends up stopping this one section. He says he's hears some strange sounds. And he also says there's a forest above this area. And we'll look at our map, and he'll point out where we actually are, or where we are underneath the world map. And that's your clue as to where to find the Mirage village, the village that was pulled into the Cleft of Dimension 1,000 years ago when the Void was sealed. So you're down to the southwest of Crescent, the village Crescent. At that location where the cross is, that's where we will find a forest, wander around that forest for a little bit, and you'll get pulled into the Mirage Town, where you can get some really good equipment, mainly accessories, like those elemental protection rings. You can get these Hermes accessories that cast permanent haste on your characters. Definitely make battles a lot easier, moving it twice, having your ATB bar feel twice as fast. Like I said, you could have got them as soon as you got the airship, because you can fly where that forest is, but I didn't want to, do things out of order. So now we have all the clues that the game gives you as to where to find Mirage. We will actually find it in a future episode. Speaking of future, though, near future we have a kind of a tricky boss. It's not really tricky. You just gotta kind of get lucky in a sense. It's going to be a trio, the 3 little piggy trio. And the problem with them is they spam some high-level spells that hit everybody. So they're kind of like the Sealed Guardians in Gallus World. And if you get unlucky and they all decide to spam those spells all at once, you can knock out a character or 2. We try to build some protection from them. One of them uses a fire spell, so we can protect against that with that flame ring that we just found. We can have somebody equip the ice shield to mitigate the one blizzard that the one boss uses. Another boss uses the bio. And the only way we can prevent bio from hurting us is equip that bone mail, because bone mail gives you, makes you absorb poison, because it makes you undead, but then it will make you weak to fire, so if that other enemy hit you with fire, you'll take a lot of damage. So I guess you can mitigate them all with, you can make yourself pretty much invincible if you equip the bone mail, and that'll absorb the bio. Have the ice shield to prevent the blizzard, and then the flame accessory to prevent the fire. But we want all our characters to live, so this is a little tricky floor. If we open that treasure chest to the left there, that's the way forward, but opening it without hitting the buttons to the south here, the 3 buttons to the south, it just makes the bridge disappear, and you fall back into the lava. So that's why I hit those other buttons. I hit the button on the far right in the north east corner, because that opens the door to that Kaiser Knuckle accessory, which helps boost the monk's power in battle, but it's totally worthless because it's better to use, say, like the Hermes sandals, which basically doubles your the amount of time, which doubles the amount of time, doubles the speed that your ATB bar fills up. So basically, you're getting like double turns. So much better boost than the Kaiser ring will give you. So. And here's our annoying boss enemy, the 3 little piggies. So, they have they are not tagged as heavy, so we can actually exploit their elemental weaknesses. So I gave 2 of my characters the sword spell ability. So Lenna has fire, 3 sword, TNV has the ice 3 spell sword. So TNV will be able to take out Triton, the red one, up there with 1 hit. And Lenna will be able to take out Neera, the blue one, down there with 1 hit. Phobos doesn't have an elemental weakness. It's weak to Oath, so if the Oath Bell, its secondary ability to cast Earthquake, hits, then that'll do a lot of damage. But main damage against the green one we're going to get from Faris, hitting it with the Holy Staff. Now, like I said, if we don't defeat them all in roughly the same time, whoever was defeated will be revived. And need that annoying Delta attack. It inflicts a bunch of different status. Well, it turns characters into stone. They have another attack, the Rainbow Wind, which inflicts a bunch of different status effects. So, but as long as we keep defeating the red and the blue one, we don't have to really worry about their special abilities, which are the Blizzard for Nerid and Triton using the Fire 3. Now they mistranslated it. They call the blue one Nerigid, but I put its name as Nerid. Must be a mistranslation. Because these guys are all named after moons. Triton and Nerid are moons of Neptune, and Phobos is the moon of Mars. So, little space. Like I said, once we deal basically 3 hits with the Saint Staff to finish off Phobos, the green one. So like I said, we just keep concentrating, taking out Triton and Nerid there to prevent them from using their multi-targeting spells. And that pretty much controls the battle. Makes it pretty easy. So you see here, we finish Triton off again, finish Nerid off again, and Phobos is low enough on hit points that 1 more hit with Faris' Saint Staff will finish him off. And as long as they're all defeated at the same time, they won't revive. And we have finished the 3rd elemental dungeon, and we're going to grab the 3rd stone tablet. We can unlock some more legendary weapons. And right now, though, we've unlocked the ultimate time magic spell, Meteo. So I'm just going to kind of off-screen getting out of most of this dungeon. I'm going to stop here because this is where I encounter the other unknowns. As you can see, these guys appear in groups of 3. And they're like the 3 little pigs that if you don't defeat them all basically roughly at the same time, they'll end up reviving. Yeah, get a little lucky here. We finish this one off before get the others to revive. And now I'm just going to fast forward just a little bit further into the dungeon, just to show off what happens if you hit that button. Makes that bridge disappear, and then just fast forward the rest of the dungeon, or skip the rest of the dungeon, because like I said, it's just a straight walk out. So no need to waste your time seeing us just tread paths that we've already crossed. So, I'm gonna say crash there because our party just crashed. After that big long dungeon, we needed a crash. Sleep and heal ourselves back up. Not that we'll be doing much fighting in the next episode. What we will be doing in the next episode is trying to find that Mirage village. So with the clues that dwarf gave us where he stopped digging, we're going to head there on the overworld, park our airship right outside this forest, and we'll explore that forest and hopefully find the Mirage village in our next episode. Thanks for following along. Have a good day. Bye.